We are here today at the Oceanway Fish Management area on the north side of Jacksonville. It's located at Oceanway Community Park off of Sago Avenue out here in my hometown of Oceanway, Florida. And I'm just out here today messing around, and I thought I'd do a rambling on my mind video today. Not that I don't ramble all the time about different things, but you might hear me talk about anything here today. First off, again, I want to tell everybody that I'm an amateur at this, and my videos might be a little shaky, and I may get a little tongue-tied, you name it. But I don't edit. I don't look for perfection, because guess what? None of us are perfect. So this is what you might say is my art form, I guess. But anyway, moving along. This park's been here for quite a few years. I remember, but I guess maybe back in the mid-70s is when they first built this park and opened it up. Got a few geese over there on the pavilion. We'll walk over there later. Might see a little gator that, well, I say a little gator, comparatively small gator compared to some we got around here. Stays up under the dock, and a few fish. Maybe the water will be clear enough over there today we can see there's a couple of bass that stay over there and some brim. Fishing here is fairly decent. If you can keep the turtles and the alligators from eating your bait, you can fish and catch a few. But anyway, I'm gonna meander around the pond here today, and I'm just gonna talk and about people in general, and might be some politics, might be some religion. Ain't no telling what I might talk about today. I'm in kind of a reflective mood today. Hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving yesterday. I spent it with my mother, my sister, my niece, and her husband and daughter, my nephew and his wife and son, and we had a good time. Family, a lot of time we take for granted. We were missing my brother this year. He just passed away recently. Uh, he was sorely missed. But we had a good time, good food, talked a lot, watched a little football. Just had a good time. Anyway, I hope yours was as good as mine. But it got me to thinking about a lot of things. When I was growing up, younger, of course, holidays were a big thing. My grandfather and grandmother Davidson were the kind of the center of the family, and pretty much anything we done revolved around them going to their house and celebrating Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter. And the times that it wasn't there, it was at my grandfather's church, have a dinner on the ground, one thing and another. But it made me think about some of the Thanksgivings and Christmases we had in the past. Uh, Back then, there was a lot of talking and kidding, and actually a lot of storytelling, which I guess is where I get a lot of my storytelling from. You can learn a lot by talking with family, especially your older generation. I know the younger generation today doesn't take that into account a whole lot. They don't listen to what the older people have to say. And here again, I'm not here to cut anybody down or offend anybody today. Don't take anything I say today wrong or out of context. Uh, it's just my personal opinion, which I think everybody is entitled to, no matter what some people say today in this cancel culture world that we live in. If people don't agree with what you say, you're wrong. There ain't no, anything about it. And if you do something that they don't like, no matter what it might be something stupid, you just catch the devil for it. Here again, that's their opinion. I defend their right to their opinions, but I expect the same in return, that my opinions should be accepted as well. Now, like I said a few minutes ago, none of us are perfect, and I am damn sure not perfect by a long shot. So, anyway, the younger generation today, a lot of them, they don't realize. Well, let's just talk about history for a minute. They want to cancel history. They want to cancel out the war between the states we had 1861 to 1865. And to the South, a lot of people don't understand that for the South, it was our second war of independence. First being, of course, the American Revolution against the British. But a lot of people felt the same way then that they did back in the Revolution. That they thought that their best interest and their rights were being infringed upon, and they felt like they needed to do something about it. This is not going to be a Civil War video by no means, or war between the states, whichever you want to call it. And done a video on slavery the other day, and I won't touch on that a lot. It's a very controversial subject to say the least. And I think I expressed my views on slavery the other day when we were at Kingsley Plantation. But you learn from history, and a wise man once said that those who don't follow history are doomed to repeat it. And I'll tell you what, I think we're doomed to repeat some of our history. Now, I'm using a cell phone today. Of course, you can hear my little bleeps and stuff like that every once in a while in my video. I was going to use my Nikon today and give it a test drive, so to speak, but I'd gotten some lithium batteries, which I thought would be charged when I got them, but they were not, so I had to leave them in the van on the charger to charge them up. I'll use it for my next video and see how it comes out. It's a pretty good camera. I'm just not sure how it's going to work on these videos, but we are definitely going to find out. But talking about cell phones, cell phones have become a part of our life today. Fortunately, but unfortunately, we have the information of the ages at our fingertips. Ain't nothing I can't find out hardly that I can't grab my phone or my laptop, pull up what I need to know. It can tell us where we need to drive. Uh, we had our gathering at my niece's house yesterday. She had a map up on the wall of Jacksonville, and she said, "Oh, Jamie, do you want this map?" And I said, "Well, years ago I would take it." I said, "But today all I got to do is Google or use some other search engine, and it'll direct me straight to where I want to go." But the information highway today is very useful. But there's a negative side to everything, good and evil, anything you can think of has a plus and a minus. Now, the minus side to cell phones is people are way too involved with their phones. They can't leave home without it. They have to have it with them 24 hours a day. I have to post on social media everything I'm doing, where I'm going, who I'm talking to. And I've got to take 493 selfies today. And I've definitely got to take a picture of me doing a fish lip. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's a lot of fun for people to do. But your cell phone is nothing more than a tracking device. Now, most people would respond negatively if the government or their job or anybody else or anything was come up to and say, "Well, we want to insert a tracking device," which the government actually wants to do, most people. And we want to put a tracking device in you where we can watch everything you do. Well, no, thank you. But got to thinking about it here some time back, and well, they don't need to do that because everybody's got a cell phone, and they can track you on that cell phone. And the only way you can not be tracked is if the batteries are out of your cell phone. It can be turned off, but they can still look through your camera, turn on your microphone. They can see what you're doing, and they can hear what you're doing. Now, the reason I know that's true is a few years ago, maybe 10 years ago now, there was an incident about with the Boston Marathon bombings where these two brothers made bombs out of pressure cookers and set off several bombs, injured a lot of people, or a few people, at the Boston Marathon. Well, they made the mistake, they got away, basically, but they stopped in at a convenience store and they kidnapped a man. Well, his cell phone was in the vehicle. They turned it off, but they didn't remove the batteries. Come to find out later on, that's how the FBI and police organizations tracked him, found him, was tracking this telephone. So I've known since then, never how long ago that was, that the government or law enforcement or anybody else with the resources can track you. There was a poll done recently with Generation Z and X and Y and Q, R, M, LMNOP, and they asked them if they'd rather lose a limb or give up their cell phone. Well, believe it or not, as Mr. Ripley would say, most of them said they would rather give up a limb than their cell phone. Just couldn't get along without it. That's pretty bad, I'll tell you. Technology, a wonderment, as people would call it years ago, good and bad. Over here, they're got a retention pond. I assume, I haven't went around and checked on that road, but I'm sure they're either going to be building apartments or homes. Housing has gotten ridiculous when you have to pay $2,000-3,000 a month for a place to live, and you add on the power bill and other utilities. I'm gonna tell you, life is expensive. But we have to do what we have to do. I think sooner rather than later, we're going to have a crash more devastating than the real estate stock market crash of 2008. Uh, the market in the housing industry is not sustainable. Interest rates are going up, and people that the average home now, I think, is around here anyway, it's a minimum of about 300,000 to 500,000. Lord, back when I was a kid, you could have bought literally a mansion at a resort or on the beach or anything else for that kind of money. But I think the housing market is going to bust here soon. And it's unfortunate for the people that have bought all these homes at these ridiculously high prices that they're going to be owing these big payments on these expensive homes that might be worth half of, when they get said and done, what it's worth. So here again, I'm just rambling today, going along talking about anything. I talk about family a little bit again. Family's a good thing. Um, I know most people don't do like we used to do years ago and get together. Everybody's too busy and got their own life, one thing or another. But take it from me, you want to spend some time with your family, because life is short. Last week I was 16 years old. Today I'm 65. That shows you how short life is, buddy. Uh, the problem is, though, the brain don't believe you. I'm overweight, to say the least. I spent quite a few years with the minor league baseball. The local team here was the Jacksonville Suns till it was sold and renamed the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. But most of our front office staff was young. When I say young, 25 to 35. When I started there, I was 50 years old, around 50, 48 something, when I started working there. So anyway, the younger guys there started our season was, of course, summer. So we got into or they started a winter league softball deal. And of course, me thinking I'm 25 years old, said, yeah, I'll play. Should have been on the sidelines or in the bleachers or whatever, looking. So we were actually playing a game that didn't mean anything. The other team didn't have a quorum and didn't show up, and so they had to forfeit. So we were all there, so we all kind of, I think they took a couple of our guys, and we just played for the fun of it. That's the irony of the whole thing. We were playing just for the fun of it. Of course, we were doing that anyway, just playing for the fun. We weren't really good. Wasn't bad, but we wasn't good. So anyway, I hit a single, went to first base, made it to first base, barely. And so the next boy after me, young fella, not long after out of college, hit a screamer. So I rounded second base, come into third, and like most ball players, I kind of rounded third and come and turned my head back around to look and see where the ball was at the time. And I'm, I don't know, a good 15 or 20 feet from the bag, and somebody's throwing a rifle ball shot towards the third baseman. So, me being old and stupid, thinking I'm young and 25 again, either just trying to run back to the base or slide correctly with my feet. No, I do a dive, head first, reaching out with my arm. And of course, it broke my right arm in several places. I'm assuming because guess what? Stupid here didn't go to the doctor. Should have. Should have got an x-ray. Should have got it straightened out. But I didn't. I went to the house and straightened my arm out a little bit and put me a splint, so to speak, on it. And I done my own doctor. So anyway, I ended up with a crooked arm out of that. Life lesson for all you people. I've never been a big go to the doctor person, and I'm still not. Um, Other than being overweight, need some work done on my teeth. But other than that, feel good. I take a few ibuprofen, a few aspirin to help with my everyday aches and pains. But other than that, I'm pretty good. Now, I assure you that if I went to the doctor, that doctor would find 47 things wrong with me and give me a handful of prescriptions. But I'm not going to do that unless something happens and I'm rushed to the hospital and forced into a doctor running tests and one thing or another. I'd rather just wake up dead one morning, so to speak. So it is what it is. Personal philosophy. I am not advocating that you do not go and see your doctor regularly. This is the way I live my life. I'm not going to tell you the way to live your life. Sorry, but it's not my job. I can tell you how I feel about things and my opinions. And that's it. You can either take the things I say to heart or not. It really doesn't matter one way or the other. So, that being said, I'll move on to something else. We just had the midterm elections. Yeah. That's another very, politics are very controversial. Um, Usually, well, I can't say that. I do talk politics, probably more than I should. Now, when I was younger, I was a member of the Democratic Party. When I got older, I became a member of the Republican Party, mainly because I think not only had some of my values maybe be changed, but I think the Republican and Democrats' values have changed over the years as well. But I am not just because you're a Republican, vote for a Republican, or just because you're a Democrat, vote for a Democrat. You vote for who you think is going to do the most good. And I stress this, represent you in Washington. Unfortunately, our politicians today do not represent you as a person. They represent contributors, big business. Don't get me wrong, I'm all about business. This country was built on free enterprise, and I'm a free enterprise advocate. But there are some out there that really, really gouge and take advantage. But here again, it's that flip side of the coin. You got good and you got bad. But with this midterm, the Republicans were talking about the red wave that was going to take over, all like that. Well, kind of think it was maybe like the 2016 election. People thought Hillary was going to run away with it. So maybe some of the Democrats didn't get out and vote because they thought it was going to be a landslide for her. And the Republicans turned out. Well, I think the same thing probably happened in this midterm. Everybody just thought the Republicans was going to landslide it and said, well, they don't need my vote. And the Democrats showed up and held some of it back. Now, I am a non-party person. I probably would be better as an independent, but I'm not a registered independent. Oh, I believe in, like I said, the person, not the party. I think personally that political parties should be outlawed, so to speak, done away with, however how you want to put it. Because then people up there, if they want to stay in Washington or state legislature or whatever the case may be, they're going to vote how their party tells them to vote, or come next election, they're going to get somebody in there that will vote their way. There's been some good people that have run on independent tickets with other lesser parties that would have made very good presidents or senators, congressmen, whatever. And they didn't get the chance because they didn't have the support of these two huge money machine parties. But I'm going to tell you, the Bible says money is the root of all evil, and it is to a certain extent. But it takes money to do anything. We just progressed to that in our society today. Not quite sure the barter system would work today. We're a little too advanced for that, but uh, there is definitely a, here again, this is the non Republican talking. There's definitely a difference in money in this country. You've got that 1% or 2% on top that's owns 98 or 99% of everything, and then all the rest of us. Now, I don't believe in taking money away from somebody that's got money and giving it to somebody that don't have money. It's kind of like the uh, way we, or some people, raise their kids today in school systems or sports, where everybody is the same. Whether you're good, bad, indifferent, or whatever, whether you strive for excellence or whether you just fiddle around, you all get a trophy at the end of the year. Well, that's fine for everybody to get recognized or whatever, but I think the people that excel should be rewarded for excelling. Because I'll tell you what this does. What it does is it gives these people that excel a look at what happens in their life when they grow up and get out in the real world. If you don't get out there and hustle and do, you just kind of get by and want people to give you a job or give you money. You don't have to contribute. You know, I'll tell you, it's not a good thing. So I think we've made society what it is through our stupidity and the way we do things, and we raise our children today. No child left behind. Well, back when I was in school, if you didn't pass the grade, you either went to summer school or you got held back. Well, today I don't think they hold anybody back. If you want to go to the next grade, they let you go to the next grade. Well, that automatically puts you behind everybody else. It's not a good thing. Feel sorry for somebody that might get left back, but strive to achieve. Uh, Most people would say that I haven't achieved a lot in my life. There's a few things I'd go back and change now that I know. Took some chances that I shouldn't have took, and changed some jobs that I shouldn't have changed. Of course, things that were beyond my control happened. I contribute some of that, and I'm not making any excuses by any sense. You know, I lost a child when I was 20 years old, and I'm going to tell you, it was rough. It just kind of made my whole life different. In other words, you know, what the hell is what's going on here? Why even try? You know, I've always been kind of a rebel at heart. Nope, I'm not doing things your way. I'm gonna do it my way. I'm hard headed. I am the king of hard headedness. Only person I can think of that may have been more hard headed than me was my brother, who just passed away. He was more hard headed than I was, or am. Me and him would bump heads, but for the most part, we seen things eye to eye, got along pretty well. I guess the only subject I haven't covered today would be major subject anyway would be religion. Lord have mercy. No pun intended. Uh, I know what I believe in, and I think personally you can boil the whole Bible down to one verse. Most everybody knows it by heart. John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, and he that believeth in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. Now, with me, that kind of says it all, and personally, here again, personal opinion, I believe that if you take that to heart and do it, you're going to be all right. Now, there are those that say, nope, 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 nope. Of course, that goes back to the once saved, always saved, the ones that believe in it and the ones that believe otherwise. Now, my grandfather called himself a Baptist, I guess, but he was really non denominational. He preached the Bible. Yes, he may would be called a evangelical. But they pretty much preach the Bible, if my memory serves me correctly. And even though I am a ordained minister, I've never had a church or preached many sermons. I've done more preaching on here than I have in life. I have done a few marriages, and I've done a funeral. But it's not what I decided to pursue. I know what I believe, and I believe I'm good on it. So, anyway, with my grandfather, he kind of sort of retired when right after he turned 65, and my uncle had gotten saved and become an ordained minister and took over my grandfather's church. And he kind of took it in another direction. He at first pursued a more modern type of preaching with the praise and worship and that type of thing. Here recently, he's led the church more in a Pentecostal way. Um, uh, I don't know. I guess maybe it's best just not to have a comment on Pentecostal. So, here again, I am a human being, and I love my uncle to death. Don't get me wrong. He's an extremely smart man. He's devoted to his faith and what he does. But we differ a little bit on our thoughts on the thing. He thinks one way, and I think another in a lot of ways. But like I say, it is my personal opinion that if you accept John 3:16, that you're good. Walk over to the pavilion for a few minutes. I was going to go up to Fort Clinch today, and I fiddled around or whatever, and I didn't go. Should have. I procrastinated. Procrastination is not necessarily a good thing. But I need to get my butt up in the morning and go up there. There's a beautiful fort. Not a lot to it, even though it was occupied by forces since the war between the states. Many times they abandoned it back in the early 1900s. Went into disrepair and one thing and another. But there really wasn't no battles fought there or anything like that. But it's a beautiful place. Nice park, nice campground. Of course, the beautiful Atlantic Ocean, the entrance to the St. Mary's River, point where you've got Florida on this side, Georgia on the other. Now, any of you that live on the north side of Jacksonville, that's the senior center here. And up front there is the Civic Center, or Community Center. You can come out here and hold events for little or no expense. Last time I had any association with it, all you had to do was put a deposit on it. If you cleaned everything up and left it like you found it, because it is taxpayer funded, that's all it costs now. I don't know what it is now. I just know it's a fairly nice little venue. The pool's only open in the summertime, of course, but today the temperature is not extremely hot, but I could go over and jump in it right now and it would feel pretty good. It's getting warm. I started out with a little windbreaker on, and I need to take it off. Now that sign there needs to be taken to heart. No swimming alligators. There are alligators in this pond. Now they wasn't introduced into this pond by man. They traveled over land from other water sources to get here. There's the geese. They're just geesing along today. Not a care in the world. uh, you have to envy animals to a certain degree. They have no, that we know of, anyway. Well, the water's a little too dark today to see the fish. But the difference between man and animal basically is that man knows that he is mortal and that one day, for now anyway, with AI and other stuff that they're got on the table now, there'll be a time if civilization lasts that long, there'll be a time when I guess your mind could go on and on and on. They downloaded it into a computer and had technology to the point where they can transplant and do all that kind of stuff. But anyway, kind of getting back to the point I was trying to make is man knows that he is mortal and that one day he's going to die. I'm not sure that primitive man understood that concept, but they did know that people died, that's for sure. And there's been centuries of rituals with burial. Some of them we carry right on through to today. But that goose over there has no more idea that one day he'll either be on somebody's dinner table or that one of them alligators out there is going to get him. Just not on his mind. Maybe that's a good thing, not knowing what's going to happen. Maybe it would take away from a lot of the superstition, stupidity that we as the human race deem necessary. So here's the pavilion out here. It definitely needs a little bit of work, but it's a lot different now, even although a lot of this stuff's been here for a few years. A lot better than it was when they first put it out here. They didn't have any of the pavilions. And one thing they did have out here that is not here now, you see these posts, PVC posts that are sticking up. Some of them are gone, but I still see two that are still out here, and there was one right over there a while back. They had fish feeders out here. They'd feed the fish, but I guess the fish have gotten to a population where maybe they don't need to do that no more. And I did see, well, about a year ago, I guess maybe they backed a tank truck up here and actually released some small fish. Anyway, today has been a rambling on my mind video. I may even name it that after the tribute to the Marshall Tucker song, Rambling on My Mind. It might be a making of a good video one day speaking about the bands from down around this part of the country. The Leonard Skinner band was from here in Jacksonville. 38 Special. The nexus or leadership of the group through Ricky Medlock of Blackfoot from here in Jacksonville. Of course, Marshall Tucker was from Spartanburg, South Carolina. The Allman Brothers actually come down here, and the official forming of the band was here in Jacksonville. Now, they lived out in California, and then they went to Orlando, but the actual formation of the band was right here in Jacksonville. And another one we'll do one day that just come to mind was the film industry in Jacksonville. Jacksonville could have been Hollywood, California. But that's for another video. I'm going to wind it up today with this beautiful view of this pond down here. Nice weather, it's a little overcast, but I'm going to wind it up. And again, I want to tell y'all I appreciate so much y'all watching my videos. I've gotten more views than I ever thought I would get. I do appreciate it, so if you would, like, subscribe, hit the bell if you want to. That way you'll know when my next one's coming out. Once again, I don't edit, I don't script, I don't do nothing. What you get is what I put out. It might be a little shaky at times, and you might see the dirt when I'm walking, but you know what? Life's not perfect. Anyway, y'all have a good day, and God bless you.